Okay, I think we're recording. Tell me recording in progress. I think
Oh, I heard
look,
the creepy lady's robot voice,
I
so
know.
she
Now they're
freaks me
listening.
out.
Um, awesome. Welcome to, I think we're calling this the Alley Report. Um,
Love it.
interviewing Robert Ottone. Did I say your last name right?
Sure.
Okay. Well, everyone gets
Ottone.
Ottone. Okay. Everyone gets my first name wrong, so I'm always like extra sensitive about getting people's names right, so I overpronounce every time.
How do they say your name wrong?
It's usually Alfred, Elbert. Um, so it's it's
Jesus.
hilarious how far out of the way they go. It's right there. It's pretty easy.
It's not hard.
And
Alfred, that's just laziness.
I know.
It is an interesting name. Elford is an interesting name.
It is. It is. I think I looked it up. It means River of Eels. Um,
River
so
of Eels?
River of Eels. Yeah, that's where it comes from.
All right, I'm into it. They used to, so like, we're talking about eels, like the long.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, apparently, and I learned this from a Gordon Ramsay show. In the Thames, it used to, and I'm assuming they still are, that it's overflows with eels. And in the 1800s, like sort of around the Industrial Revolution, they ate eels all the time because they were plentiful, super rich in protein. They could basically get them for free from the Thames, like, and if you did buy them, they weren't expensive and they were available on like the street. So as time went on, people were like, "Oh, I'm not going to eat those anymore." Blah blah blah, and it's like it's plentiful protein meat. Like what? Why wouldn't you? So Gordon Ramsay did a whole thing where he was like, "Let's get back to eating eels in the
I love
country." I
that.
think it was on his show, The F Word in the UK, and like there was he did like a tasting thing on the street because if you have like a Michelin star chef making anything for you, it's going to be good, right? So like he
Yeah.
prepared it for everybody and people ate it and they liked it and I was like it just makes sense. So like here on Long Island we have like clams and oysters. That's like that would be the equivalent of our eels because we're on the ocean. But yeah, people are weird. Like, oh, I don't want to eat that. I don't want to eat that. That's gross. And it's like, what's gross about plentiful protein that's not running out?
Well, it's like
It's
we're
just so
okay eating crabs and lobsters, and those are just sea spiders. Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, especially when you think of lobster used to be like literally quote unquote poor people food. Um, and now it's like stupid expensive. I think eels could be the same way. I like eels, by the way. I've eaten eels. Delicious. Let's get back to eating eels.
I've never had an eel. I've had
You never had
rattlesnake.
sushi with eel?
So
What's that?
I've had a rattlesnake. So
I've also had rattlesnake, and it is delicious. I try to eat something every year that I know could kill me in a fight,
just
just
work
to
your way
prove
up
my
to the
dominance.
apex predators. Like,
Yeah, I need the animal kingdom to know who the king is.
eventually, you're just gonna do some really sketchy shit so you can get your hands on a grizzly bear. Like,
Last year was scorpion. Last year I ate
oh,
scorpion, and it was good. It's delicious. It's just a weird thing that I do every year. It started a bunch of years back when a couple friends of mine and I were at our favorite restaurant. We were smoking cigars and drinking outside, and the chef came in, and his assistants came out, and they carried a large, like an igloo. What do they call those? An igloo,
cooler.
cooler. Thank you. They were carrying a large igloo cooler into the restaurant, and I was like, "What is that, chef?" And he takes his phone out, and he's like, "I caught a 7 foot thresher shark today, and I'm gonna make it the special tonight on the menu." And he's like, "I'm gonna give you guys it for free because you're the first ones to see it." And he showed me pictures on his phone of him butchering it and everything, and it was delicious. Thresher shark doesn't taste like anything else I've had from the ocean. It's not as like it's more the consistency is closer to like a beef than
Okay.
any other seafood. But that was the first time I was like, oh, this could have killed me. And I'm eating it. And that was like, I don't know, like 10 years ago. So like that's how it all started. How it started, how it's going.
I mean, I feel like that's just ingrained in us. At one point, our ancestors were killing mammoths. Like, you see, like a two-story tall elephant, and like, I can take it. I can eat that.
Oh
I can
yeah,
eat that. Yeah, take that down.
100%. And I bet you it was delicious.
Oh yeah, probably.
was all lean.
Oh
It was
man,
all lean farm raised.
wandering the tundra.
Oh man, I wish that, like, I wish I was more manly in the sense that like I hunted or something. Like I know people who hunt, and here on Long Island there's a big initiative to hunt deer because we have like a huge deer overpopulation, and actually a lot of hunters I know do a thing called like hunters for the homeless. So they go and they hunt the deer. They take it to a certain facility. That deer is then butchered. They get for bringing it there and everything, they get 10% of the deer, but the other 90% goes to meat for the homeless shelters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which I think is a good thing. So, I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, like I don't know. I think I'd have a problem killing something unless I'm in a fight with it. That's the only thing I
Yeah,
could
it's me or you.
conceivably. Yeah, if it's like this is it, one of us is going down, and it's not going to be me, or if it is going to be me, I'm taking you with me, kind of thing. I love those like survival stories and stuff. I wish, there's so many that I wish I could teach in school, but they're not part of the curriculum anymore.
Well, nothing but whatever the standardized test is the curriculum anymore. So
Hmm. Yeah, it's great.
yeah, I have so many teachers in my family, so I hear all the horror stories.
Yeah, it's we're lucky that like we can bring things into the classroom if we want to, but the reality is like we just don't have the time. Most of the time we just don't have the time to like, put together extra curriculum to do like this extra story. Like at Halloween time I like to do some spooky stuff, but like I don't know if I'm gonna have the time next year to do like anything spooky with the kids as much as I would love to, Like I remember my first year teaching I did the Telltale Heart, and I did like a super dramatic reading of it, and I like turned the lights out, and I flipped a desk and everything, and
That's
they called up
amazing.
from yeah, they called up from downstairs. They're like, "Is everything okay, Mr. Ottone?" I'm like, "Everything's fine," and I just hung up.
I'm up here making a difference, is all.
Yeah, trying to entertain the children, and they loved it. So like, it was a lot of fun, but like, yeah, I'm so busy with everything. I'm just like, when am I gonna have a chance to do any of that stuff? I have like old packets that I made for like Bradbury stories. Like I have stuff for the Velt, and I have like Telltale Heart and stuff, but like I don't like doing the same thing twice. Like I think that's lazy. So I don't know.
Um, well, speaking of like, your teaching experience, I know you have middle grade horror coming out, and you've written some others. Do you find like, being in the classroom, interacting with kids, that gives you insight into writing that kind of horror, like knowing what speaks to them and
Yeah, I think so. I think it also helps me figure out like who the kids are, who the children actually are. Like my students all come from very tough backgrounds for the most part, so they're not your average like Spielberg, Amblin era type child. They're a little rougher around the edges because they need to be because of where they come from and their stories of coming to the States and everything. But I find that the things that they are scared of are very funny to me. Like they're all scared. Like they don't like The Exorcist because they see Reagan's face and they're like, "That's the jump scare girl," and I'm like, "That's right, that is the jump scare girl." But yeah, like they they're different. I think and also the cool thing is that they all come from different parts of the world too. So they come with horror stories from their home countries. So that kind of helps inform a little bit of what they're scared of. I remember when the It remake came out, they were all scared of Pennywise the clown. They were like everybody was really scared of Pennywise the clown. And they were like, "Mr. O, doesn't Pennywise scare you?" And I was like, two out of the three versions of Pennywise scare me. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And they were like, "What does that mean?" They didn't know. They don't know that it's a book. They don't know that it was a TV movie before. And I was like, "Well, I'm a big believer, and if something's going to be scary, it should actually be scary." So I wasn't really afraid of the new Pennywise because it's just not scary in any way. He looks like a bunny fucked a light bulb. So not really. terrified. And it's funny because I'm scared of that actor and every other thing he's done, and just not as Pennywise. His crow, he looks ridiculous, but that's not his fault.
Yeah, I feel like with the new It, they had to do such a make sure Pennywise doesn't look like a retread of the miniseries one because the miniseries one's more or less dead on to what he should look like, and so I think they had to go
Hmm.
a whole other direction.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing like images from when the guy who did the first season of True Detective was doing he was supposed to do it originally, and they released the character designs that he was working on for Pennywise, and he was very scary. He was, but it's like you would expect that from the genius that did the first season directing anyway of True Detective. Like you'd expect something good from him. Um, but yeah, like it was legitimately scary. And also you could tell that they were not going for like a tall, young actor to play Pennywise in those sketches. Because I remember it was supposed to be what's his face? Ben Mendelsohn, the guy from The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, he was supposed to be Pennywise originally, and it's like, yeah, he would have been great. Not that Bill Skarsgård wasn't. It's just not he didn't have a lot to work with.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
maybe he did. I because you hear like, oh yeah, his like wonky eye is actually his wonky eye, and like just wasn't good. And I get if people like it, that's great. Good. I'm glad people enjoy it, but meh,
It's just not for you.
not for me. Even and you know what the funniest thing is? Like when the second one was coming out, and I was like, oh okay, now they're gonna do the adult one as a second part or whatever. My wife and I figured out 60% of that cast before they ever announced it.
Yeah, I
The
feel
only
like
one we got, the only one we got wrong, we got two wrong because I was like, okay, well, the fat kid grows up to be really hot, so they should get somebody like this person to play them, and it was not wrong. They got like some guy I never heard of, and Mike, I was like, well, Jordan Peele. Mike needs to be Jordan Peele, very clearly needs to be Jordan Peele, and then that didn't happen. But everybody else, we were like, boom, 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 we got. And I was like, yeah, especially Bill Hader. I was like, yeah, it's going to be Bill Hader.
gotcha. Um, well, we're both going to be at ZervCon in the fall. So I've never. This will be my first time ever doing any kind of a con. I usually just look at everybody's photos and get FOMO from it. But I don't know what to you. What to you makes a good con? Like what's something you should expect or
I think the things that make a good convention are a wide variety of programming. Um, not just in terms of like, here's a great dealer's room, here's a great whatever, like offering different programs to cater to your audience is a big deal. So like, I know for sure I'm moderating at least two panels, and those panels are very different from one another. Um, but like offering that and then giving, I think another really fun thing you could do at a con that makes people go like, "Oh, that was really cool. That was a lot of fun." Is offer something like slightly off, slightly different. So I remember when I was a kid, I went to a science fiction horror comic book convention, and they did it was like what it was a milestone birthday for Superman, and they had a bunch of the Superman writers from DC at the time there, and they had a birthday party for Superman, and there was a cake and the whole thing, and the cake said "Happy Birthday, Clark." It was awesome. And I just remember as a kid being like, this is so fun. I'm getting cake and they're talking about Superman. This is great. Doing stuff like that is a lot of fun. So, if you could do some stuff that is outside the box and provide something for your attendees that's like slightly outside the box, they're going to remember it.
that's good. No, I'm trying to get stuff ready for it now. Now I know it's a few months away, but
Don't get, and by the way, you shouldn't be getting FOMO at looking at these events and stuff. Cause like when you're there, and I've only done a few, but like when you're there, it goes by real fast and it's like it looks like everybody's having the best time, but like have you spent a lot of time with authors? Like a lot of them are very shy, so it takes a lot to get anything, you know what I mean? So it's like don't feel FOMO, like it's different,
It's
and
basically
it's
a middle
like,
school dance, but you can buy books.
yeah, it's like boys on one side, girls on the other. Um, it's just like, and it is, there's parts of it that are fun. Like Stoker Con was fun, you know. Like, um, what's it called? Necronomicon, is interesting. It's a lot of walking. Necronomicon's a lot of walking because it's kind of like spread all over the place. Um, but yeah, like, when there's so many people there, that's when it's like it can be overwhelming. Like AuthorCon is fun, but AuthorCon is fun once the dealer's room closes and the programming ends, because then it's like, okay, we're going to the bar. Like AuthorCon is very cool.
This one I'll be road tripping to it, so I've been trying to map out. I can go to the Lizzie Borden house along the way, so
Oh,
I'm
nice.
planning my itinerary.
That's awesome. A friend of mine stayed there as inspiration for her new young adult horror book. And she loved it. It looked really cool, the pictures she posted. So, see, that stuff is fun. Like that would be a good opportunity for a convention to do like a partnership with like a local ghost tour or something like that. Like, oh, you have your ticket that includes like a trip to, a local haunted spot or something like that. That's a good example of like memorable programming, you know?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, just stuff like that. Like, and I'm not saying, conventions are fun, but yeah, it is a lot of work, especially like if you're at a table and you're like selling books and stuff, you're there for a long time. Um, and carting the books in can be a pain in the butt and stuff. Like, I don't know how many books I'm going to be bringing with me to ZervCon. Um, but when I'm out, I'm out. Like I'm putting everything out, and if everything sells, then find me at the bar
yeah,
or on a panel or whatever.
we look forward to the panels. I'm talking about the local things like that. Are your friend going for a research trip? Have you done that with any of your books? Like, I'm gonna go see this one place. I gotta go to this one thing just to get the feel of the area or anything like that.
I have a book, yeah, I have a book on sub right now that is very Long Island, and I've been to the place that the book is about many times. Um, my book, The Sleepy Hollow Gang, I grew up going to Sleepy Hollow all the time. I now work about 20 minutes away from Sleepy Hollow. So I go across the Tappan Zee Bridge every day going to work. I will never call it the Mario Cuomo Bridge.
Or should you?
But yeah, it's come on. But like, yeah, no, I find like energy in going to the actual places that you're writing about. You get a little bit of juice from it, and it definitely informs the writing for sure. Like the I'm working on something now that is set in Manhattan, and I go there all the time. And New York, Manhattan at night, I'm more inspired by than Manhattan during the day. Um, and that's definitely something I'm drawing from.
Yeah, sometimes I find even doing all the research for something, if it's set in a time period, a different place, sometimes you don't even really use that stuff. It more or less gives you the confidence that, oh, I can do this. Like, let
Yeah.
you move forward with it.
Yeah, it's cool to draw from different I think I want to say I think it was Paul Tremblay who said like you got to refill the well. When you finish a book or whatever, you got to refill the well. And whether that's going to, on a little vacation or a little trip, get some new experience under your belt, and then you could pour that experience into the next thing.
Yeah, like I've kind of seen that with sometimes with authors, their early books compared to their later books. I swear there's a point where it's like there's no more adventure. There's no more taking in anything new. And
Yeah.
so books kind of become a little bit stale, a little bit repetitive if you don't refill the well.
And that's like you have to be conscious about it though too. Like you really need to take the time to refill the well. Like I don't like going on vacation. I hate taking vacations. I don't like going anywhere. I don't want to do anything. It's different going to like ZervCon, Merrimack, or whatever. Like that's a different vibe. But like, I don't want to go and sit on a beach. I don't like sleeping in on my days off from work. I don't, I get nothing out of that. you know? Like I'd rather be doing something, making the most of my time. So, I have to make a very conscious effort to refill the bucket when I'm done with something because it's like if I just keep going and going and going and going and going, I know I'm going to burn out, but I need to like take that time to specifically refill the bucket and take the wife somewhere nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially because I feel like there's, at least in the indie horror world, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on putting out new work almost constantly.
hmm Yeah. We have to there's a lot of us and there's a lot of material out and there's a lot of spaces and there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of us are chasing those same opportunities. Um, but there's no real spirit of competition. Like we shouldn't feel like we're competing with one another. But yeah, we do have to keep a lot of stuff out. Like I have something coming out this summer. I have a middle grade thing coming out this summer. I had something come out uh in March, I think it was. I have my first chapbook come out in March, and I have a middle grade book coming out this summer with Cemetery Gates that you kindly blurbed.
Yep, it was great.
Thank you. And yeah, and my book The Triangle will be fine. We'll have a new publisher this summer as well. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Trying to think of another question because I'm realizing now as I'm doing this that I might be terrible at interviewing.
No, that's not true.
Um,
The key to a good interview is like to make it conversational, Like there's nothing more boring than just answering questions because if like that was the case, we could have just sent an email, but like we're sitting here chatting about God knows what, and that's like that gives viewer it gives them like an insight into who you're talking to kind of thing. Like me, I'm just chaotic, wholesome is how Aquino Loaiza would describe me. So
Great description.
yeah, yeah. Um, but no, like at the end of the day, like a good question, like the ones you've asked, will go off in like a bunch of different directions. Like I don't know. There's nothing worse to me than like the standard questions
Yeah,
that you get asked in every interview.
yeah. I wrote for it's gone now, but it was a music site way back in the day, and I did interviews with people, and it was very much like almost the same kind of questions, and I would try to shake it up. But yeah, like I said it became a thing. Like, okay, you've done this, could have done this on email, or
Yeah.
um,
I'm prepping to do an interview with a guy. I found this amazing project online and I've been thinking about it for days and this guy's doing this for free. I'm just like, how does anybody have time to do anything for free like that? And B, he's been doing it for like 4 years. And I said to him, I was like, hey, like, would you want to do an interview? I don't know who will publish this thing once it's done, but like, I'm really impressed with the work that you are doing. So, I know that like some of my questions are gonna be like the basic, like, why did you want to do this? But then like they're gonna go deeper as we go on. But it's like that's the hard part is like figuring out because it's also the subject too, right? Like whoever you're interviewing has to be willing to talk, you know? You gotta be willing to like open a vein a little bit to
yeah.
do a fun interview.
Um, yeah, when I did the interview thing, I did a few of them over the phone, and so I put these musicians' numbers in my phone, and one of them was the lead singer for Camper Van Beethoven, and it
Okay.
was when I had like a toddler, and at some point I always deleted them afterward, but I forgot to do that, and like my 4-year old got a hold of my phone and just called him. So
That's
I was like
awesome.
apologizing profusely, and he was like, "Yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine." Talking to a toddler for a little bit.
He's
Like,
like, "Hello, you're a baby." Yeah, I don't know. Like when I used to write for a couple local outlets and stuff and I remember the coolest interview and the weirdest interview and my all-time favorite interview I ever got to do is I got to interview Tommy Wiseau
oh,
and
nice.
that was heaven for me. It was heaven on earth because like the things he gave me so many compliments. It was really cute, and he was just so sweet and so full of love. Um, he actually sent me this. I keep it right here on my writing desk. It's an autographed Blu-ray of The Room, and he wrote,
Amazing.
"To Robert, may all of your dreams come true. Love, Tommy Wiseau, January 2nd, 2013." So, meant a lot to meet him eventually, but like that was my favorite interview. So he sent that to me after our interview was done. His assistant emailed me and said, "Hey, what's your address? We want to send you some stuff." And I was like, "Oh, that's really sweet." So they sent me a strap bag that I still use to this day, and the autographed Blu-ray, a t-shirt that does not fit. And that was that. But then it was really cool. And I've seen The Room a bunch of times now on the big screen. I saw his new movie, Big Shark, which
Oh, I
if you
haven't
haven't,
seen it yet.
oh my God. Oh my God. It's so good and so ridiculous. And the craziest thing is if it's actually a really good story. Like if he had taken, let's say he took another year to tinker with the narrative a little bit, it's really good. Like it would be really cool and really clever and smart. But as it exists now, the shark kind of comes out of nowhere. Um,
Which
which is kind of weird. I will say this, he did that movie made me jump 3 times. So Big Shark
hey,
did have three very strong scares in it.
yeah, and it's because he tries. I feel like that's the
Yeah.
difference. Like I can watch The Room and enjoy it for all its flaws because you can know there's a vision
Hmm.
and somebody really tried to make it work. So
Yeah.
I can't stand movies like Sharknado. They're like, we're bad on purpose. It's like it's not how it works.
Yeah. I hate that stuff. I hate the whole I'm not a huge horror comedy guy to begin with or anything like that. I don't really enjoy a lot of horror comedies and stuff because my friends and my wife are the funniest people I know. Like I don't want to watch somebody else try to be funny in a movie or a
Yeah.
TV show really. But when I'm watching, oh, it's so bad, it's good kind of stuff, or oh, it's a guilty pleasure because it's so bad. It's like I don't want to waste time watching that. I'd rather, I put off watching Talk to Me. I like saying it like an Australian person. Talk to me. I put that off for a long time because I don't really like A24 stuff. And I regret putting it off as long as I did because it was good. But it's like one of those things where it's like if everybody's saying it's so funny and hysterical and scary and stuff, it's just like, is it? Am I going to be into this? Because they said it was really scary too, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like my A24 experience, one of them I saw Hereditary in the theater.
hmm
And the part where they do the hard cut to where the woman's making the model of her daughter losing her head.
hmm
But like I died laughing because like, clearly that was meant to be a laugh thing. And the entire theater is just like evil eyes on me. I was like, this was clearly a joke. This was meant to be laughed at.
yeah.
People are too
Um,
serious.
I hated Hereditary the first time I saw it. The second time I watched it, I liked it. But yeah. So maybe I think the best A24 thing is The Curse on Showtime. Like that is a high mark of how that A has the scariest thing I've ever seen in a TV show in it.
I need to see
Um,
I need to see that.
it's the whole thing is a nightmare. It's a nightmare of discomfort, and I love it. I
I
live
mean, even
for
the
it.
trailer made me uncomfortable. Like that's amazing.
And it made me really like the Safdie brothers, or maybe it's just the one brother, Benny Safdie, because I didn't like the thing he did. What's the movie he did with Adam Sandler? Jules, something Jules.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't like that. And I haven't seen any of his other stuff, but watching The Curse, I was like, I kind of like this guy. And then I saw him in Oppenheimer, literally the day it won the Oscar. My wife and I watched Oppenheimer, and I was like, oh my God, that's Benny Safdie in this too. And I was like, he's really good in this. So I guess I'm a Benny Safdie guy now. I don't know, but yeah, The Curse is incredible. It's like next level brilliant and the scariest thing I've ever seen in a TV show. And that's counting Twin Peaks Channel Zero. This is like, ooh,
I gotta see, because I loved Channel Zero so much.
Channel Zero is like one of my favorite things ever. The first and the fourth seasons, I think, are perfect. Season two, I cannot watch. It hits a little too close to home. Season three is meh. Season one and four are just unbelievable. I love that clown in the fourth one. I call him Cutie the Clown. I know that's not his name, but he's so cute. I love him.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, like I love Channel Zero. I wish that would come back, but it wouldn't be as good.
yeah. I Aside from Twin Peaks, I feel like anytime something comes back, it's always like, oh, what was nostalgia? I mean, well, maybe X-Men '97 and Twin Peaks are the only things that can come back and maintain.
I haven't watched X-Men 97. Everybody keeps telling me it's really good, and I'm sure it is. I just haven't watched it. I've watched the Deadpool Wolverine trailer a couple times, and I don't really like the Dead. I got hammered watching the first Deadpool movie, and I remember nothing of it. Um, and I haven't cared about a Marvel movie since Endgame, whatever the second one was. And even that I didn't really like because it was just basically clip show the movie. But
Yeah,
you know, I liked the ending. But like I think Deadpool and Wolverine will be like something that interests me again. And I'm a big Fantastic Four guy, so whenever that movie comes out, I'll be like first in line to see Fantastic Four.
I just want to get
Um,
Doom right. Like, just get Doom right.
I don't know. I don't think he's even going to be in it. I don't think it's going to be Doom. I think what they're going to do is they're going to do the Power Cosmic and they're going to do Galactus because they've already laid the groundwork with that piece of shit, the Eternals.
Yeah,
Um, just have Galactus. Just do Galactus first. Introduce Victor Von Doom later on. Give him the Dark Knight treatment. Make write Von Doom,
yeah,
write Doctor Doom in a way where he's the strongest thing in the movie and get a powerhouse actor to play him, and you're going to
yeah.
see Marvel win their first Academy Award for acting.
Seriously, he's a great villain. Like, just
Yeah,
he's so good.
he's their best. It's tough because it's like it's either him or the Green Goblin, and
Yeah,
it's like, well, okay, cool, like AKA Marvel's Lex Luthor and Joker, right? Okay, got it. Like it's just the same, But I could see. I don't even know who you would cast for him. You know who would be a really good Doctor Doom? Idris Elba.
yeah, he would. Like, he could do the gravitas. He could walk in, and he's someone who could talk to about himself in third person, and you just be like, oh yeah, I accept that this is happening.
Yep.
Yeah, of course, this guy introduces himself and talks in all caps.
Yeah, and you need somebody to anchor that villain role going into like the later movies or whatever. If you're gonna keep him around, I don't know, but I really just think they should just do Galactus. Make Galactus like the next Avengers level threat that they all face. Like that is just do that. He's big scary thing in the sky. Marvel loves their big scary things in the sky threatening to destroy the planet. It literally the end of every single Marvel
Yeah,
movie is that. So
light going up into the sky. You got to have that. Like,
even why did Captain America 2 end like that? With a giant thing hovering in the sky, the giant shield hover carrier in the sky. It's like, really? Wasn't this supposed to be like a 1970s inspired thriller and now all of a sudden it's your standard Marvel bullshit? Like, come on.
I feel like it seems like they always start out with this is going to be different, and then they get cold feet in post
Hmm.
production. It's like, no, there's a laser, there's a ship, there's a giant guy, there's
That's why I'm a little worried about Wolverine and Deadpool or whatever it's called because like how different could it be? How different
yeah,
could it be? Wolverine's dying at the end of that somehow
yeah.
because he's done. He's like he can't. And there's also the rumors that Daniel Radcliffe is going to be the new Wolverine. So like I don't I remember reading that and being like, "Oh, really? All right. I like Daniel Radcliffe, but I don't want him wasting his time as Wolverine."
It's almost like, yeah, he does cooler, weirder stuff. It's like there's another short actor who's jacked who can be Wolverine.
The kid from Halloween Ends. Get the kid from
Yeah,
Halloween Ends who played Corey Cunningham. He's perfect as Wolverine. He looks like him. He's short. He's got the wild hair. He's perfect. I don't
yeah.
remember his name, but I think he's British or something.
Well, I have my remaining meeting time clock, and we're gradually running down.
Yeah,
I don't have upgrade to pro money,
it's fine.
but
It's
thanks for
fine.
talking to me.
Yeah.
I think this went pretty well. You know,
Not really well, pretty well. It's
yeah. I think it did good. I don't.
perfectly
We'll see if
serviceable interview.
if uh if Zervis is going to remove me from the alley report. We'll see.
I think the key thing here is, ZervCon is a new convention. So there's going to be a lot of things that we're trying as
Yeah,
guests and as people producing it and putting it on. And, we just hope that people come and enjoy the offerings on hand and you pick up some books. And, Wayne is really, really, really trying hard to put on a great convention. And I think it will be a great convention because it's a beautiful venue, it's a great place, and there's a lot of really great guests. And I think that the key to something like this, A, getting better, and B, getting bigger, is for the first year to go really well.
yeah.
So,
So everybody, come on out. It's
yeah.
going to be amazing.
Yeah, let's have some fun. Let's get weird.
Yeah, damn right.
Hell yeah.